From Passo Stelvio, welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show. This week we are once again knee-deep in controversy as we talk sock doping, banning e-bikes and the fishiest race in pro cycling.
Yeah, on the positive side though, we're out in the field checking out the new cyclocross bike from Canyon because cyclocross is coming. Dan, what would you do with half a ton of salmon? Just out of interest.
I don't know. I haven't got that many friends. This week in the world of cycling, we learnt that pro cyclists, whilst they might not be that good at fighting, sure are pretty good at dancing. Check this video out. This is Justin Oyen of Caca Rural strutting some incredible moves just before a stage start at the Colorado Classic.
Yeah, I love how he makes nearly walking into a traffic cone a seamless part of his routine. That's class.
Yeah. To be fair, that's kind of the way I would roll, I think, as well. Although I thankfully didn't hang around by that pole and start doing some pole dancing.
No, I was worried about that.
Clearly a talented bloke, though, off the bike as well, and I think destined for stardom.
Absolutely. We also learned this week that you, the GCN viewer, doesn't really care what Lance Armstrong gets up to. Under last week's show, we asked you exactly that, and 78% of you said that you weren't bothered what Lance gets up to. Although, having said that, judging by the 2,300 comments left under last week's show, quite a number of you care very deeply about not caring at all.
Yeah, it's clearly still quite a hot topic, isn't
yeah.
it? Although we are going to step things up another notch on this week's GCN Show. Not Mario Cipollini, don't show that photo again. Or Mario Nipolini, as Di Naturat coined him on last week's comment section. No, we have been out doing some very serious investigative work on sock length.
Oh yeah.
Cyclists are obsessed with socks. We're obsessed with socks because, let's face it, they are an inexpensive way to give you a perfectly legal boost. A good pair of cycling socks helps you go faster.
That is a fact. The question is though, what is a good pair of cycling socks? How do you sock dope?
Well, I think we should start with the facts. And in the words of GCN commenter Max Z, a cycling sock is there to frame the calf muscle in the colour of the rider's choosing. The question remains then, how do you perfectly frame this natural asset?
Well, I think we can discard sockless right away. I mean, for a start, it makes your shoes smell. Then you've clearly got to shave your ankles. I think it's only acceptable if you've been swimming and then got changed in a hurry.
You mean triathletes?
I mean triathletes.
Well, I think a cycling sock should cover the ankle bone. That is without a doubt.
Agreed.
How far those socks then extend up your leg will probably depend on how slender your ankles are and also how muscular your legs are. Yeah. So this is Exhibit A, that's me, and here is Exhibit B, that is Si. Slender ankles with stick legs versus fat ankles with more muscular legs.
Yeah. Okay, right, so let's look at the long sock for a start. It clearly makes the calf muscle look bigger, which could be a good thing in Dan's case, or it could be a bad thing. A longer sock also makes your shin bone look shorter, so Dan's long legs now look in proportion, but you don't want to go too long, because otherwise you end up with a compression sock, and no one wants a compression sock.
Well, triathletes?
Triathletes, yeah.
A short sock definitely reduces the appearance of cankles, although in some ways it does seem to draw attention to them somewhat. So maybe better to go for something slightly longer, which does frame the calf muscle with a design that maybe takes your eyes away from chubby ankles.
Seriously, mate, leave it out. Now, we have, of course, contacted GCN's head of fashion, Adam Blythe, for his insights, and also guest fashion editor, Tiffany Cromwell, just to see what the pro insight is.
Yeah, Tiffany said you want a decent amount of height, although not too much, but also you don't want to go too low either. But the interesting thing that she said was that there should be no difference between the perfect sock length between a male and a female rider.
Sock equality, I like that. Now, Blythe also had some great insights, drawing attention to a physiological difference I'd never even considered. He said high calf, high sock, low calf, low sock, meaning that your sock should be about ½ an inch below the bottom of your calf muscle. Now, we did ask for clarification of what to do in the instance that you don't have a calf muscle at all, like Dan.
Yeah, and he did reply, Si, thanks for that. He said long socks in the instance that you don't own even a single calf, let alone two, one for each leg. Now, we would like your opinions on this very subject. What do you think? No socks, low socks, or knee highs?
Or the Blythe formula. Yeah. And before voting, or even after voting, do be aware as well, we don't really mind what socks you ride in. No socks, low socks, high socks, or the right socks. It's not the most important thing, is it?
No.
It's now time for Cycling Shorts.
Are e-bikes motorbikes? Now, for some diehard cyclists, yes they are. But also, weirdly enough, in Northern Ireland, e-bikes really are motorbikes.
Are they?
Yeah, they are apparently. So, through some weird error in legislation, apparently the law there hasn't been updated since 1995. And so, e-bikes really are classed as motorbikes, meaning that in order to ride one, you need a license, you need a helmet, you need insurance, and you need to tax it as well.
Well, I was actually reading about this, and you know what is weird?
What's that?
That this only came to light just last week.
Actually, yeah, that is quite odd, isn't it?
Yeah, so apparently it's going to take quite some time to change that legislation. So in the meantime, the police have been urged to act in the spirit of the law. But nevertheless, some very big shops in Northern Ireland have stopped selling e-bikes now.
Yeah, that's bonkers, isn't it? At least your KOM will be safe, in all likelihood, in Northern Ireland at the moment. Now, slight change of pace here, but did you see that Rafa has been bought by, and this I find slightly amusing, two heirs to Walmart. So no link to Walmart other than that, but I like the fact that you can put those two brands in the same sentence. Don't normally see them together, do you? Rafa and Walmart.
Well, moving on to a rider who used to wear Rafa clothing to race, Team Sky's Luke Rowe.
Nice segue, man.
Yeah, did you see that he had a horrific injury very recently last week, basically breaking his tibia and fibula, which sounds horrific.
It does, doesn't it? Cycling is a dangerous sport.
No, it wasn't. He didn't do it whilst he was cycling. I think he was on stag do and he was rafting and something happened there.
Rafting is a dangerous sport.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that that's not in his contract not to do such dangerous sports, particularly in the season.
Well, hopefully it wasn't in his contract. No, it wasn't.
Well, no, yeah, true.
Yeah, anyway, right, well, let's get over that, shall we? It's contract matters, in fact. The transfer not quite rumour mill anymore, actual genuine transfers for next year. So two riders going to be leaving the Cannondale Drapac team. So Davide Formolo is off to Bora Hansgrohe and Alberto Bettiol is off to BMC.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ian Boswell, who has spent the first 5 years of his professional career at Team Sky, is also off to pastures new. He will join Katusha Alpecin.
He's going to be joined there by Dimension Data's Nathan Haas. Interesting enough, whose current team, Louis Meintjes, is going to be heading back to after 2 years away, one with Lamprey and one with UAE Emirates.
Yeah, that feels like a homecoming.
It does, doesn't it?
Good move for Louis, I would say there. All right, well, sticking with Dimension Data, but moving away from the transfer non-rumour mill for the moment. We alluded to this in our introduction, but did you see that Bernie Eisel, the veteran Austrian cyclist from Team Dimension Data, won the KOM jersey at the Arctic Race of Norway? Now, he would be the first to admit that he is not known for his climbing skills, but by virtue of being in the breakaway on 3 out of the 4 stages there, he came away with the jersey. But not only that, he also came away with 1/2 ton, 500 kilos of salmon. What a prize!
What a prize. You know what, Dan? First mountains classification victory at the age of 36. There's something a little bit fishy about that, I think.
Yeah. Are there any more fish puns that you want to get out?
We could find some, I'm sure. Put them in just for the hell of it.
Oh my word. Right, move on. Quickly.
Yeah, right, yeah. Why don't we ask Luke Rowe, actually? You might know as well. Sorry, right, okay, enough now. Let's move on to Ultra Endurance. Sean Conway has sadly had to pull the pin on his Trans-Europe record attempt. He tells us that he was only 4 days in, but he was still 70 miles up on schedule when he pulled his quad muscle. Sounded a bit like no, that really is it now, before you switch off. The onset of tendonitis, and he was advised, therefore, by his medical team back home to pull the pin, but it did mean that he then had to ride for another 2 days one-legged in order to meet up with a friend who could then drive him to the airport.
Oh my goodness.
Brutal, isn't it?
Meanwhile, our friend Mark Beaumont is still trucking along in his attempt to break the world, going round the world record in 80 days, despite his toughest week to date. Firstly, his support vehicle was involved in a crash, which did put him back by around about 50 kilometres, we understand. And that in turn meant that he had to put in a 450 kilometre day just to make his next flight, which is to New Zealand. And I think we both, come close to missing flights before, but that sounds infinitely more stressful than the situation we've been before a flight.
Well, it does, because imagine you'd know for days in advance that you were about to miss your flight, so you'd just be riding on going like, no!
Well, he's still on track, which is remarkable in itself.
Yeah, let's hear from the man himself.
Hello GCN, Mark Beaumont here at the end of day 40. 40 out of 80, I hope, the plan to get around the world in 80 days. And I'm about 200 miles north of Melbourne. So this might be hopefully halfway in terms of time, but I passed halfway in terms of distance a few days ago. So it took me 37 days and about 18 hours riding to get 9,000 miles around the world. If you're just catching up on this, the first 28 days were from Paris to Beijing, and then racing across the outback in Australia. I've ridden the Nullarbor of the outback before, and I always knew the big story in Australia would be the winds. Sometimes they've been fantastic, and I've been piling through 260 mile back-to-back days, whereas today I've been battling a headwind all day. So I've just done 16 hours and managed to do 210 miles, which is a bit soul-destroying. But yeah, at this point I'm just excited to finish Australia in the next 3.5 days, get up New Zealand in good time, and then get back to the Northern Hemisphere where it's summer, because I'm sick of riding in the dark and the wind and the rain, and yeah, I need some more. Hope you're enjoying following the journey.
You see that? That is the new logo for the GCN Cycling Club, that is. Now, you may well have seen it before on social media perhaps, or if you're particularly eagle-eyed, on Dan's legs, on his new socks, in fact, to be precise.
Which are here. These beauties are the socks that every founding member of the GCN Club will be receiving through the post. The founding socks, in fact,
I like
tailored to Blythe's formula and with Tiffany Cromwell's blessing. We think. They're so new, in fact, that we haven't had a chance to run it by her just yet.
Yeah, she'd like the height for sure. That's definitely definitely by the work. I like that, to be fair. I like that a lot. Thank you all, those of you that have registered an interest in the GCN Club and indeed given us your suggestions so far. It's really, really important to us because we do want to make this the very best cycling club that we can do. If you haven't registered your interest yet, then don't worry if you still want to, because you can sign up. The link to the club sign up page is in the description beneath this video.
It's time for Tech of the Week now, but this week we need to head out of the studio and into the natural world.
Have a look at this, the new Canyon in-flight cyclocross bike. As you can see, it's had something of a redesign. Firstly then, why the funky looking top tube? Well, in cyclocross, having a higher top tube makes it easier and quicker to get your bike on your shoulder, but longer, more exposed seat posts are more comfortable. So the idea here is that you get the best of both worlds. You get a larger front triangle, but then you also, can you say, get 15% more vertical deflection on your seat post. Now, that top tube area is not the only part of the geometry to have been redesigned. The handling of the bike is also different. So can you say it moves away from the more off-road road bike type of cyclocross towards a machine that's tuned specifically for the dirt. So what they've done is they've lengthened the top tube by about 1 centimetre, and that stretches out the wheelbase to make it both more stable at higher speeds and also when things are getting loose. But then they've also spec'd it with a 1 centimetre shorter stem. So obviously that keeps the fit points the same, but it also makes the handling a lot faster for technical sections. Canyon have also clearly thought about mud. So the first point is that there is 8.5% less surface area on the parts of the rear triangle that normally collect crap. Then the seat clamp is hidden away, now it's underneath the top tube. And then perhaps my favourite bit, Canyon have worked super hard, they say, to make the cable system the most sealed system that they could manage. So high fives all around there. This medium frame weighs just 940 grams, and that's 1,300 grams just under for the frame set, so fork as well. And then just like with Canyon's women's Pacific road range, the smallest sizes here also share that smaller 650B wheel size. And then finally, whilst designing that carbon layup, as well as reducing weight and increasing stiffness, Canyon have also concentrated on maintaining the durability of the frame set. Clearly, quite a good thing with cyclocross.
In racing news, Lotte Lepisto of Cervelo Bilia outsprinted Marianne Vos and Leah Kirkman to win the latest round of the Women's World Tour, that being the Crescent Vegada in Sweden. Pretty tough course up there, and there are only 30 riders left in the group when they geared up for the sprint to the line.
That's right. In the Men's World Tour, Tom Dumoulin has just won the overall at the Binkbank Tour, that's formerly known as the Eneco Tour, and contested on the roads of Belgium and the Netherlands. He didn't actually win a stage, but a solid performance in the time trial and then an impressive second place on the penultimate stage was enough to see him clinch the overall.
Yeah, how versatile is Tom Dumoulin
Pretty
as
versatile.
a rider? He won the Giro d'Italia early on this year, now the Eneco Tour, the Binkbank Tour, which includes plenty of cobblestones. I was actually doing some more investigating this morning, trying to see which of the previous Grand Tour winners had fared best at the Eneco Tour as it was. Couldn't even find one. Couldn't find a Grand Tour winner that's previously competed,
Really?
although I only did go back to 2015, so it wasn't thorough work on my part, but
No.
I think it does go to show what a rider Dumoulin is.
Yeah, nevertheless, it does go to show. Lars Bohm, sticking with the Bing Bang Tour, landed himself in a bit of hot water with a rather ill-judged victory salute. To say nothing of the impressive stage victory, in fact. But apparently he did it out of frustration at being left out of his team's Vuelta squad.
Yeah.
He hasn't ridden a Grand Tour since 2015, but I can imagine it was a little bit awkward in the team car, getting lifted back to the hotel with his boss, having just done that.
You'd have thought so.
Yeah.
I might have considered a similar victory salute had I ever won a big race, to prove my doubters wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But, since I never won a big race, I kind of proved my doubters right. I
That's a
guess.
shame, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, it was not only embarrassing for Lars Bohm, but also quite costly because he was stuck with a 1,000 Swiss franc fine, which apparently is about the same in current exchange rates with US dollars. Not as costly, though, as when Mark Cavendish did something similar at the Tour of Romandy a few years back. Some of you may remember that. He did also include 2 fingers, though, in his victory salute there. He was landed with a 6,000 Swiss franc fine at the time, but also ousted from the race by his team, despite the fact that the gesture was made towards the journalists and media as opposed to his team.
Yeah. Right, okay, moving on now to another race, the inaugural running of the Colorado Classic, minus Lance Armstrong officially podcasting. He was unofficially podcasting instead, which probably actually boosted his ratings with his rogue status. But nevertheless, that race was won by Manuel Senni of BMC, taking his first ever pro win. But also of note at that race was Rigoberto Urán, who wins this week's Wattage Bazooka!
Good work, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Yes, Rigoberto Urán, fresh from his runner-up position at the recent Tour de France in the overall classification, according to his boss, JV, set a new record-high heart rate whilst working for his young teammate, or in Vorta's own words, pulled his ass off for his teammate, which sounds, I have to say, rather unpleasant.
Yeah, it does. No
Painful.
wonder he set a record high heart rate if he was doing that. He also, actually wasn't just pulling his ass off, he was also dancing
More
his
dancing.
ass off. Yeah, check it out. Not to be outdone by Justin Oyen. These are Rigoberto Urán's pre-race moves.
So not only does he look like a rock star, like Mick Jagger, he's also got the moves like Jagger as well.
And the hat of Jamiroquai, by the look of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to dance in front of camera. Those two are too good. Right, well, it's time for the viewer Wattage Bazooka. Don't forget you can nominate yourself or some other people using the hashtag Wattage Bazooka on social media. But this week, we are giving this well-deserved Wattage Bazooka to Franz Conrad. He's been in Mallorca recently and set a time of 29 minutes and 30 seconds up the beautiful Sacalobra climb, which is very respectable
That is
indeed.
very good going indeed. Nice work, Franz.
It is time now for hack/bodge of the week. But before we get on to some fresh new hacks and bodges, a quick look back at last week's GCN show, Si.
Yeah.
You can see some comments scrolling up the screen right now.
One or two.
All saying that that was not a bird, that was a cobra snake.
Yeah. Although, in my defence, even now looking at it, that looks like a pigeon, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've got a bit of sympathy for you. That looks like a beak on the end of it. It's much more pigeon-shaped, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a definite bodge, because if you can't work out what crap taxidermy you're actually sat on your bike saddle, that to my mind makes it a bodge. So pigeon or cobra, same thing.
Right, well, let's crack on with some fresh ones then. First up from Paul Davies. Hack or bodge. Soaking wet shoes just finished cooking. Can't believe I never thought about this before. We have seen this end in disaster personally before, haven't we? Admittedly, the oven is off, so it's cooling down, and they are only on the door, not inside, but it's a risky game.
Yeah, hopefully you don't do what we talked about earlier, which is go cycling in no socks, because the smell will be absolutely rotten. But yeah, whatever you do, don't try that at home, and definitely don't ever use a microwave to dry cycling kit, which we have heard in the past, and it always ends in disaster.
No.
Yeah, okay, right. Thinking of burning things, in fact, we've got another one here. Anthony Clark spotted this when he was in France. It's a mobile barbecue bike trailer, which I like. Yeah.
Looks quite old, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think that's a hack.
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, that's a
two
hack.
bike wheels, relevant for GCN. We'll deem that a hack.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look at this one, though.
Whoa.
What is that? This was sent in by Patricia Blinkowska. Is that a saddlebag or a pannier bag?
That's an epic
both?
saddlebag, isn't it? But also, it looks like actually it's a seat, because I can't see the saddle.
Well, to be fair, the size of that thing, the seat could well be obscured behind it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
That looks remarkably like a picture from my commute, actually, bizarrely. If you live near Bath, let us know. This next one, this one is strangely reminiscent of a Cervelo time trial bike, isn't it? A homemade aero storage solution, quite neatly done out of a salad tray and duct tape. So
it looks all right, that.
It doesn't look too bad.
Thanks to
It's a hack,
Carlito's Way for sending that one in. Yeah, we'll go with hack again.
This last one, take your minds out of the gutter, okay, before you look at this. That is just a stem that's been custom made to give the rider, who is Cycling Spirit, an almighty saddle to bar drop on his TT bike.
It's quite a droopy stem, isn't it, the way he's fashioned it?
Yeah, aesthetically, it's not, you know, but then maybe that's the only way to get it quite so extreme.
Who cares about aesthetics when you go fast, Si?
I can't imagine that position is it necessarily right. I mean,
well, we need to see the whole bike, don't we?
Yeah.
If you would like to send in pictures or more pictures of that bike, we would love to see them. And if you've got any more hacks or bodges anywhere else there in the world, you can use the hashtag GCNHack to send them in on Twitter or Instagram.
I can't stop laughing. I think that might be my favourite ever hack. Oh, dear me.
It's competition time now, and we've got a massive giveaway for you all this week. So following on from Si and Matt's Berlin adventure in the video on Sunday, we have got a Schindelhauer bike to give away, complete with that Gates drive and a centre helmet and seat cleek lights.
I am so jealous. Like I said in the video, Matt and I had to tearfully hand our bikes back before we flew home. So if you want to enter, and my goodness me, I suggest that you probably do, then the link to the competition is in the description beneath this video.
Yeah, good luck with that. Meanwhile, 5 winners to announce of the Wahoo Element Mini.
Oh!
All new. Those are Murray Leishman, Joshua Head, Brian Boyette, Mickey Wong, and Aistis Balchunas. Apologies for the pronunciation there, but hopefully you got that. The names will be scrolling at the bottom
They'll
of the
forgive you,
screen.
mate. They've just won a Wahoo Element Mini. Happy days.
Lasty will be in touch shortly.
Caption of the week now, and we'll be honest with you, deciding this week's winner was pretty tough. Not only because the standard of entries was as high as ever, but also because we had to sift through 1,500 comments about Lance, 500 comments about the saddle that's actually a cobra and not a bird. But nevertheless, we have got a winner for you right now.
Yeah, a winner of a GCN Camelback water bottle, which will not be used. This is my own personal one here at the moment. But the winner is Max Champlin, who put, is that Tony Gallopin or Pony Gallopin? Very well done to you, Max. Get in touch on Facebook with your address and we'll get that to you as soon as possible. This week's photo comes from the Bink Bank Tour. Here it is. Simon, you going to get started?
All right. Heads will roll at the UCI after they realised they'd forgotten to ban balance bikes as well as everything else.
Yeah, but they got it on the minimum weight rule. It was under 6.8 kilograms.
Anyway, there was ballast in that one.
That was a
yeah,
ballast in the balance. If you can do better than Si, please leave your captions in the comment section down below and we will pick our favourite this time next week and you'll win one of these.
Normally I'd
Unused
grab
without
that now
watering.
and claim it, but I really don't want your old water bottle. Before we get into what's coming up on the channel this week, let's take a moment to look back, shall we? Particularly at the comments that you've all been leaving under the videos. Some absolute belters, as always. Do keep them coming. We do love to read them and get involved. But two, particularly for me, on the Super Commuter Challenge from Berlin. First up, Prashant Pradhan says, yes, I too greet all my best mates with nice to meet you, which is a good point, actually. Funny that Matt
They caught
did
you
that.
out there, didn't they?
Well, Matt, it was Matt's fault. And then Dagan Patterson said that he would like to see more fixie content on the channel.
Liking that one?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we'd like to see more fixie content on the channel. We might have a go.
Well, I want to go. Haven't had a go yet.
Let's both have a go.
Meanwhile, disconcertingly, underneath ways to train for a multi-stage event, more people noticing the McLaren and Ferrari on the road next to us than Matt and I, resplendent
I
in our
noticed
GCN
the,
kit on our lovely bikes.
I know it's McLaren and Ferrari.
Toxis 06 Psi and Slimakano TV were amongst those who noticed these supercars, which are slightly out of our price range, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right, well, what is coming up on the channel this week? Well, on Wednesday, we've got how to get more power on the bike, and we've got our Vuelta a España preview show. That's starting this coming Saturday. Thursday is our top 10 riders to watch out for at that very same race, and then on Friday, we have, as ever, Ask GC Anything.
Yeah, Saturday's pro bike is Steve Cummings' Cervelo S5. Sunday we've got a double header for you. We've got a beginner's guide to Zwift, and then we've also got a very, very special unboxing video, so do make sure you stay tuned to that one. And then Monday we are back in the maintenance set.
Yeah, I'm off to the Vuelta actually. In fact, by the time this comes out, I will be there, not in Spain, but in France where it starts. You're heading off to Switzerland, so stay tuned.
I am.
for
I'm
that
going to see
content.
DT Swiss. But then perhaps, despite this being such a busy week, the biggest news, dare we say it, is the launch of the Global Triathlon Network.
It is.
Oh, yes. So make sure, if you're not already subscribed to GTN, that you head over there now, give them your support. And if you just want to watch more GCN content, then you can see Lloydie running.
Yeah, but we can also see all of us diving. Not like footballers on a football pitch, but actually into a swimming pool, which is, well, something to be seen.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's worse, actually, Matt diving or you running.
We should finish the show, as we always do, with Extreme Corner. This week, it's an Italian rider over in the US of A. This is the stunt legend, that is Vittorio Brumotti, over at the Grand Canyon. Check this out. Looks thoroughly dangerous, I would say.
If you're scared of heights, shut your eyes now. Oh, I tell you what, that gives me the heebie-jeebies, that does. I don't care how good you are at wheelies, I wouldn't even stand that close to a cliff edge,
No.
let alone waggle my front wheel over it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be walking over there.
No, fair play.
No.
Fair play.
Right, well, if you are yet to subscribe to the Global Cycling Network, you will see a globe on the screen now. Clicking on that will lead you to subscribe for free. A couple more videos coming up for you right now, though. Just down here is Matt and I doing more investigating, journalistic, into slammed versus non-slammed.
More thorough than your whole Eneco Grand Tour winners.
A lot more thorough, but some interesting results down there.
Absolutely. Or for the Super Community Challenge that we talked about just a moment ago, click just down there.